The Steducentre 2015 Grade 7 A&A Exam Review, Maths.
Part 3.
3.6.1. Write an algebraic expression for the following. X increased by 5. 3.6.2. Write the number sentence for the following. 2 times a certain number p decreased by 8 is equal to 12. An algebraic expression contains only numbers, symbols, and variables. It is sometimes referred to as a variable expression. Number sentences are things like addition sentences, subtraction sentences, multiplication sentences, division sentences, or less than sentences. X increased by 5 is x plus 5, and 2 parentheses p close parentheses minus 8 is equal to 12, or 2 times p minus 8 is equal to 12. The graph given illustrates the number of hot dogs sold on different school days in the week. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the number of hot dogs sold. 40 on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, 20 on Wednesday, 50 on Thursday, and 35 on Friday. Question 3.7.1. How many hot dogs were sold on Thursday? Question 3.7.2. On which days do the sales remain constant? And 3.7.3. Calculate the difference between the number of hot dogs sold on Monday and on Thursday. So 3.7.1, there were 50 sold on Thursday. 3.7.2, there were 20 sold on Tuesday and Wednesday. So those are the ones that are constant, which means the same. 3.7.3, the difference between Monday and Thursday is 50 minus 40, which is 10. Question 4.1. Study the triangles marked A, B, C, and D, and then complete the table below by filling in A, B, C, or D. We have an equilateral triangle, a right angle triangle, and an obtuse angle triangle. Triangles can be defined based on their sides. You have a scalene. The length of all sides are different. You have an isosceles. The length of two sides are equal. And you can have an equilateral where the length of all sides are equal. Triangles can also be defined by their angles. So, if each angle is less than 90 degrees, it's an acute angle. If one angle is 90 degrees, it is a right angle. And if one angle is greater than 90 degrees, it's an obtuse angle, triangle. So the equilateral triangle was C, the right angle triangle was B, and the obtuse angle triangle was D. Study the diagram below and answer the questions that follow. 4.2.1. What kind of an angle is C? 4.2.2. What kind of an angle is ABC? 4.2.3. What kind of an angle is BDC? And 4.2.4. Name the pair of perpendicular line segments. 4.2.1. Angle C is an acute angle. 4.2.2. Angle ABC is an obtuse angle. What kind of an angle is BDC? It is a right angle. Name the pair of perpendicular line segments. It is BD and AC, or you could have said BD and DC, or you could have said BD and AD. Question 4.3. T is the center of the circle. Name the parts of the circle that are listed. 4.3.1. PQ is called. 4.3.2. TM is called. 4.3.3. PS is called. These are the parts of a circle. We have the circumference. The circumference is pi times 2 times radius. Then you have the diameter. Then you have the radius. The radius is half of the diameter. Then you have a chord. The chord divides the circle into different segments. Then you have the area of the circle, which is equal to pi times radius squared. The line that just touches the circle is called the tangent. The word circle comes from the Latin word circulus, which means disc. So 4.3.1, PQ is called a diameter. 4.3.2, TM is called a radius. And 4.3.3, PS is called a chord. Question 4.4. Identify each of the following figures below. 4.4.1, figure A is A. 4.4.2, figure B is A. 4.4.3, figure C is A. And 4.4.4, figure D is A. Figure A is a parallelogram. Figure B is a kite. Figure C is a heptagon. It has 7 sides. And figure D is a pentagon. It has 5 sides. It is also a regular pentagon because each of the sides are equal. Question 5.1. In an equilateral triangle PQR, PQ is equal to 23 millimeters. Complete the following. 5.1.1. QR is equal to PR, which is equal to how many millimeters? 5.1.2. P is equal to Q is equal to R, which is equal to how many degrees? 5.1.1. QR is equal to PR, which is equal to 23 millimeters. And 5.1.2. P is equal to Q is equal to R, which is equal to 60 degrees. Question 5.2. Study the diagram below and then answer the questions that follow. 5.2.1. What is the length of DF? And 5.2.2. If E is equal to 40 degrees, what is the size of F? Since this is an isosceles triangle, meaning the two sides are equal, DF will also equal to 4 centimeters and F will equal to 40 degrees. 6.1. Study the pairs of diagrams below and complete the statements by filling in A or B or C or D in the spaces provided. You have an image for A, B, C, and D. 6.1.1. The two shapes in are congruent. 6.1.2. The two shapes in are similar. Similar triangles are exactly the same shape but of different sizes. And your congruent triangles are exactly the same. If you place one on top of each other, it should be a perfect match. So 6.1.1, the two shapes in D are congruent, and 6.1.2, the two shapes in A are similar. 6.2, write down whether each pair of triangles given below is congruent, similar, or neither. 6.2.1, triangles in pair 1 are. 6.2.2, triangles in pair 2 are. The triangles in 6.2.1 are congruent and the triangles in 6.2.2 are similar. Question 7.1. Calculate the perimeter of the rectangle if the length is 11 centimeters and the breadth is 5 centimeters. Perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of a 2D shape. So it will be 11 plus 11 plus 5 plus 5, which is equal to 32 centimeters. Question 7.2. Write down the formula for the surface area of a cube. If I had to open up a cube, it would have been made up of 6 squares. The area of a single square is a squared, so the surface area of a cube is equal to 6a squared. Question 7.3. In the rectangular prism below, the length is 5 centimeters, the breadth is 3 centimeters, the height is 10 centimeters. Calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. The surface area of a cube is equal to 6 length squared. The surface area of a cuboid is equal to 2 times length times height plus 2 times length times width plus 2 times height times width. The surface area of a cylinder is equal to 2 times pi times radius, parentheses, radius plus height, close parentheses. The volume of a cube is equal to length cubed. The volume of a cuboid is equal to length times width times height. The volume of a cylinder is equal to pi times radius squared times height. The volume of a right-angled triangular prism is equal to half times length times height times width. The volume of a triangular prism is equal to half times breadth times height times length. And the volume of a trapezoid prism is equal to half, parentheses, a plus b, close parentheses, height times width.
So in the question, it's length times breadth times height, which is 5 times 3 times 10 centimeters, which is 150 cubic centimeters.
Question 8.1. A mother is twice as old as her daughter. How old is the daughter if the mother is 64 years old? If the mother is 64, she is twice the age of her daughter, so divide by 2. The answer is 32 years old. 8.2. The product of two prime numbers is 10. What is the difference between the two prime numbers? A prime number is a whole number which can only be divided by itself and 1. A prime number must have exactly two factors. So, if I am looking for a product, and you find a product when you multiply, you will say, if I'm looking for a product 10, what are my prime numbers? So which two numbers multiplied will give me 10? 2 times 5 is 10. And the question asks for the difference between these two prime numbers, which is 5 minus 2, and your answer is 3.
Thank you for watching the Steducentre, turning ordinary learners into extraordinary leaders.